Hi, my name's Patricia. I'm also known as Haute Couture, and sometimes I post videos on the internet talking about the things that I am making, mostly knitting. Today is going to be a quick update about how my current works are going. I won't be having any finished items to show because I haven't finished anything since my last update, but I will have some good progress to show on the things that I have been working on. And quick call out that I won't be showing any community makes because all the things that I am showing you, with the exception of one, I have already shown to the internet. And so I'd already featured some community makes for those garments previously. So mainly a works in progress update on a few of the things that I'm working on. So my iris, my blouse number one, which I casted on last episode, I believe, just before I filmed last episode, and a new cast on that I started as well. So we'll be brief, but I wanted to just show you how far I've gotten. So that's where we're at today. So firstly, also wanted to acknowledge the land on which I'm filming on this evening, which is Darug country, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I have like a permanent acknowledgement of country on my page, but I think it's also important for me to try and remember a bit more actively to say it as well. So I'm going to try and be better at doing that too. So, progress. So I think last time I showed you the iris, and I'm looking over here because there's a basket next to me. She's doing really well. So I believe I still had a lot of like one and a bit flower motif repeats. And I was deciding on if I was going to add an extra repeat of like the brown. I'm really progressed since then. I'm just going to fold this while it's on my lap so that I can hold it up to show you. So it's quite large. So last time I believe I was like up here. Whoop. And I've finished the full second repeat. I've done the repeat of the brown motif. Now we are on the tubular bind off of the hem before I pick up the sleeves. So this is like absolutely gorgeous. I'm doing really well. I've like steam blocked it up until a certain point. This is just going to focus on my face, isn't it? Look, there we go. So I've steam blocked it up until around, I would say, halfway through. I can hold it up to camera, up to around there. So the bottom part has not been steam blocked. It's so lovely seeing this like unfold. Aside from that, I just have to pick up the sleeves. There will be some not magic, but like work that I'll need to do with the sleeves. So I was looking at my notes on my project page, and I had noted that I had picked up more on one than the other. And so I was going to need to add like an extra round of plain or main color, main color, background color, like a plain row just to kind of even it out. So I think I'm going to end up doing like size 2 sleeves from memory, maybe even size 3. We'll see. But that's probably going to be something that I've got to work through once I get there. But for the moment, I've done the hem, doing the bind off. It's taken me like at a gentle pace, maybe like a week to get almost through all of the bind off. because it is like there's a lot of thread or a lot of yarn that you're kind of weaving through, and so it just takes a bit more time. But I'm really happy with how that's progressing. I do see myself falling more and more in love with the project as I kind of work through it. So I think initially I was a little bit concerned with the color combinations and how much wear I was going to get out of it in my wardrobe once I started to see it unfold. But I think it's going to do quite well. And I think it's because it's got those like autumnal tones in there. And I've started to really appreciate that I gravitate towards like, or not just autumnal tones, but like warmer tones, like these reds. Like this is showing up cool on camera, but this is like a nice red, and I tend to really enjoy wearing those kind of colors. So on top of black, so I'm excited about that. Next, so that's my Iris sweater. It's doing really well. I'm going to try and be really realistic with my updates when I show them to you guys, or who's interested, because I think sometimes we can feel the pressure to just really get through things quickly in order to have something to show. And I think there's a lot of things we need to think about in terms of like life, schedules, sometimes mood, which might mean that you don't work on things as often as you'd like. So I know that there are times where I get home from, my real world job, and I just don't want to do anything. I'm lucky if I make it to like a Pilates class, and then I'll get home and all I want to do is just absolutely nothing. Like I just want to reset. And sometimes that looks like not touching my knitting. Other times it looks like using my knitting as a way to create like a third space that clears my mind, almost like a hard reset of my brain before I go to bed. So everyone's different, but I think all those things affect how actively we will work on something and how quickly or how slowly we might end up finishing our garments. So that's why I decided I was going to record something, even though I had nothing to show in terms of finished items, because I think it keeps it a bit more real as well. So, yeah. The next thing is my Blouse number one. So this has done pretty well. I've gotten to, I think I got to sleeve separation last time. I was just about to. I can't remember. I think I had hit it or was just about to hit it. Anyway, so in the words of everyone here in the Southern Hemisphere, like spring has sprung. I might be one of the few people that's not happy about that because I prefer the colder weather, but that's fine. So I'm trying to kind of get through my Blouse number one as quickly as I can so that I can actually wear it. So I am obviously working on the body, and I'm really impressed that this is kind of showing up for you. So yeah, I have to work the body until, for the size that I'm making, until I think it's the back neck to the hem measures 59 centimeters, something like that. Which is, oh, I'm going to knock the mic, which is fine. I think obviously black on black doesn't show, but yeah, it's coming along. I'm quite pleased with how this Color Mart yarn is knitting up, and I've wound it double off the cone so that, yes, that is a toilet roll, so that I have like a portable way to carry it. So that is my Blouse number one. And And lastly, I did cast something else on. I accept no criticisms or feedback on that. I am making a baby blanket for a friend who is expecting. And this is, I cast this on Tuesday in one of the windows of time, like one of the momentary lapses of time that I had on Tuesday where I didn't have a migraine. And so I was like out of action Tuesday and Wednesday this past week. And once I was able to feel a bit like myself on the Tuesday, I cast this on and I've been gently working on it since then. I'm using a free pattern. It's called the Garter Stitch Comfort Blanket, and it's a DK weight pattern, and it's actually really nice. It's meant to use like 2 skeins of DK. So you end up using around, it says here, like 600 meters with 5mm needles or US 8 size needles. The recommended yarn that's being used for this is like an alpaca, but I've just using merino superwash. I took a photo of like what I was thinking in terms of the gradients. So these are all minis from Woolen Works Advent Calendar 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. And I ordered the DK weight. I don't remember why I did DK, but it's worked out well. So I have started with like purples, and we'll see how far I get in terms of the use of the minis to how big the blanket ends up being. But I'm doing like a striping fade, which I have appropriated from the what was it called? It's the Hedgehog Fibers fade cardigan. So they do, and it's a free pattern, so I can talk about this. So what they do is they'll do like a block that is in the like intended colorway. So like here up the top, I've done like the main color, and then I started to alternate it and stripe it with the color that I was going to fade it into. So I've done a couple of rows of that. I played a little bit with, I don't even think you can see this here. I played a little bit around with like alternating stitches in terms of color. So one stitch, one color, second stitch, second color, and then swapping, just to experiment with the blending a little bit. That was a lot of fun. So as you can see, like top corner is one color, then it fades into this color. Then I've started to fade into the next color and so on and so forth. So that's kind of what I'm working through. I'm hoping to get through roughly like 20 grams, which is 1 mini skein each. I was aiming for each day. Let's be realistic, it won't be each day, but so far I've gotten through like 2 of the mini skeins. And so I'm alternating these 2 at the moment, which are hard to see in the evening light. Yeah, I'm alternating those 2, and then I'll end up going to, I think, yeah, I think it'll be something like that. And then from this, I'm going to fade into this because of the purple that's in there. And then from this, I'll fade into the pink because of the pink that's in there. And then from there, there's orange in here. So I'm going to connect that orange to this one. And then we'll see how I go. I don't think that's quite 200 grams. of DK, but I have like these that I can kind of fade into it as well. So if I end up on this aqua with orange, then I can kind of go, right, that aqua with orange can maybe tie into this orange and yellow, and then that orange and yellow can, actually it might be better that way. This bluey green orange, and then from that orange to this one, and then from that one to this one, and just kind of end up with a fade out into there. So it's makes it more fun for me to make, rather than just doing a garter blanket back and forth in a single color, to just get to play around a little bit with color. And I'm someone who always has intentions of making gifts like this, and I half deliver. So I really want to push myself this time to make sure that I see it through and get it done in time to give it to them, so they can have it for their baby. So they won't see this, so they won't know that this is in progress. But I do enjoy being able to be a little bit creative with something that's meant to be quite straightforward. And I think it's going to look really pretty with all those skeins. Like even stretching it out now, like I can see the color gradient is working really well. So that's the Garter Stitch Comfort Blanket, which 200 grams of DK on, I think I said 5mm needles. I've pulled out, I've probably gone up as needle size actually. I had been gifted some Addies by a wool shop in one of my wool orders. I think they must have had like a surplus and they were getting rid of them. And I'm actually using 5.5s, which is fair. I tend to knit a bit tight, so it's fine. This might end up being a little bit bigger, which is okay. So that's the third thing that I'm working on. Aside from that, I have managed to destash a couple of things from my destash bundle that I have at the moment. I've got a couple of things that I still want to kind of rehome. And so I popped them up with a reduced price on the Ravelry, the Oz Fiber page, the trade page. I don't have Facebook, so I won't post on Facebook. I do have like a old Instagram where I used to post for destashes, but it just, like, having to flick between accounts was annoying me, so I just haven't gone in there in a little while. But yes, I'm trying to destash some stuff because it's just kind of sitting here, not being used. I'm kind of looking at my shelf at the moment and thinking about some other things that I might destash. I'd like to make room for different colors, but I keep holding back from enhancing my stash until I get through what I have, or at least progress some of the projects that I'm working on. And what that ends up looking like is a bunch of procrastinating or just acquiring the new yarn. So like at the moment, I have like a cart sitting there that has some Santa's Gone, what is it called? The rustic one. Peer Gynt. Geez, that took effort. Like Peer Gynt sitting there in like a sweater's quantity, because I'm entertaining the idea of making like a cream colored of sweater number 20. Surprise, surprise. So not in the same colors that they've done it, but it's like a natural, see if I can zoom in. It's like a natural color. It's showing up blue on here. But it's just like a chunky kind of cable sweater. But also, even if I don't end up making that, like if I get sweaters quantity of that pig, it'll go to good use in another version. Like I'm also wanting to make the Ophelia sweater, like inspired by the row, which is inspired by, it's mostly knitting, who made their own version. So there's that. And then I've also got some of the alpaca, um, that alpaca blend that's it's used in one of the patterns that I think Sarah from Two Pearls in a Pod is using to make a dress. I think it's like an alpaca silk. No, it's not an alpaca silk, is it? I think it's the Millie dress. So I've got like some sitting there in the cart going, oh, do I buy this and put that to my to make pile, which is like fine because I know I'll wear it if I manage to make a dress with like sleeves that are maybe up to around here. That goes to the knees. I think I can get away with wearing that with like a slip underneath for work on the warmer months, but it's more their ideas, right? Like they're aspirational, like they're the things that I kind of look at and I go, "Ooh, I'm really inspired to do this." But I want to make sure that that feeling of inspiration doesn't overshadow any previous ideas or inspiration that I had for some of the stuff that's in my stash. Because I do have a lot like that I had bought like more than 3 years ago now that I had plans for, and I look at it now and I'm like, I don't want to use this or it's not my vibe. So I've got, just to give you an example, I've got like icy lavender in from the Wandering Flock in the merino 4-ply. I think it's the single 4-ply, and in the mohair. So I got that yarn like probably when it was a lot more financially accessible than it is now. Um, and I've held on to it because I had in my head this idea of like a really pretty feminine or dainty, more than feminine, like ethereal like sweater in that icy lavender. But I'm leaning more towards warmer tones, and this is a cooler lavender. So do I destash it or do I just hold on to it for a bit longer until I knit up a swatch and actually see how I feel about it? And then I've got other similar quantities from the same indie dyer. I've got Spring Fever, and I've got I've got Brooklyn. No, I do. I have Spring Fever, which was one of their variegated colorways, and I've got Brooklyn at Sunset as well. Again, mohair and merino. Um, One of them, I think I had the idea of making a shawl, and haven't made a shawl. And the other, I think I had entertained the idea of more of an indie dyed kind of looking sweater. But again, I just haven't done it. So it's there, it doesn't expire. So I kind of put those decisions on the back burner until, I do something with it. Um, and I've got other similar acquisitions that are sitting there kind of waiting to turn into something. Like I was really motivated to use some Explore Knit fibers. I think I got the colorway Guinness in a DK. My idea at the time was to make that in like a cropped, like crossover wrap um, sweater, which like is a really lovely pattern. I could totally wear that for work as well, which is one of my key things about making things that I can wear um, in a professional corporate setting and still kind of make it work. So that still I haven't done anything with it. I like that one though. Like it's still consistently my vibe. Like if I was artistically inspired by something and acquired the yarn because of it, because of the colors or like it just vibes, I'm more likely to destash it. Whereas that Guinness colorway from Explore Knits and Fibers or Explorer Fiber Knits is like in the autumnal family, so I'm more likely to hold on to it. Same with like a green that I got from them, which is like a yellow leaning green, like similar to this tone. So that I'll hold on to. I've got like a royal blue sweaters quantity in Peer Gynt to make a Louvre sweater, which again, like I do want to make that. So yeah, there's like a few things that I kind of look at, and I had ideas for them when I got the yarn. I had a plan, and I think I was just being inspired at a faster pace than I was able to execute the idea. And so it kind of puts me in a spot where I kind of take pause for a moment and go, right, is there stuff that I can get rid of and give the opportunity for that to turn into something really nice for someone else? Or do I just continue to hold on to it? So there's some stuff that I've listed, which is happy to kind of let go. Like there's some knitting for olive peel silk, there's some woolen works, variegated, Violet Valley, which was like a limited edition colorway that they did for the shop that I used to have before I shut it down. There's some fairy bread that I've got left over, which is also from Woolen Works, which is like a speckled rainbow yarn. So I've got nice stuff there. It's just not stuff that I'm going to be able to find joy and inspiration in turning into a garment or an item, but I'd like to be able to make sure it turns into something, right? So that's where they end up on the destash. So all that to say, I am continuing to make things and work through them gently. I am really pleased with the progress that I am making, and I hope I'm looking at my shelf with yarn going, what else can I make? It's not a bad thing. And I do hope that you're also like being kind to yourself and not putting pressure to churn out things at a fast rate, and you're actually enjoying the process and the planning as well. I think that's important. And yeah, I think I will end it there because I've kind of gone on to this big stash discussion, which is fine. It's like giving you a bit of a update and a insight into where my head is at the moment. And next episode or next update might be something else. So I think with that, look after yourself and each other. Be kind, and I will see you next time with an update where I've hopefully gotten a sleeve on that iris, progressed a bit more of the body on the blouse, number one, and have more progress on the Garter Stitch baby blanket to show you. I am going to try and exercise restraint for casting on something new. And maybe I'll try and focus on also getting some of my twigs sweater like progressed as well. So until next time, look after yourself and goodbye.